Hello everybody, welcome to 11/11. Weird numbers, it's the 11th to 11 of November. And that's a little echo to make sure I'm not talking to myself. Thank you all for coming. It's been October was amazing. And November is shaping up to be even more amazing. But let's go through everything that happened this week. And I try and bring in all the news that you may have missed and you may need to hear again. And you may need to know, as well as a whole bunch of charts and data and everything else. So thank you all for coming, and thank you to the mods in the chat, and I appreciate the support and the likes. And we are here every day to give you the best information out there, bar none. And of course, anything I say is edutainment, usual disclaimer, and don't forget to get smarter. I've been saying for the last couple of months, subscribe, because these are life-changing times, and this is the most important time to have the right information that's current. Not come in and try get on the train after it's already left 500 miles away. A big issue. So the story today, I just do want to talk about one thing too, because, there's three, happy Saturday as well, everybody. There's three simple rules for investing, and many people often get confused about them as well. But I just want to reiterate how I operate, which has proven to be very successful over a long period of time. And that's why I do this now. Okay. But first of all, make bold bets on assets. And a shout out to Sanjay as well for the inspiration for this too, in summarizing kind of how he perceives things and things he's read. But don't be afraid to invest in assets that are out of favor with the market. I did a video yesterday or the day before called The Most Hated Assets. And that is critical. Absolutely critical and so important to get that. Second, a lot of people tend to be very impatient, but if you do the homework up front, wait for your investments to play out. Give them time as you go forward as well. And third, be very consistent, okay? Don't let market fluctuations shake you out. Stick to your long-term plan. That's why I do the Retire On series, to have a plan and stick to it. It's so important. So there's three basic little things I want you all to remember. So let's jump in. First of all, MoonVember is up 7.2% so far, and things are shaping up for it to be a lot bigger. Last week it was only up 0.3%, and we are on 11/11, so we're like 1/3 into the month and already up 7.2%. But remember, November is the best month in the stock market and also in crypto historically. Bitcoin historical returns in November are 38%, and we're up 7.2%. So I still remain very bullish, even though it's above 37K right now. But if you look at kind of my charts and the layers, it's making steps. It's making steps up $5,000 to $3,000 at a time. And it's only a matter of time before we get back to that 42K level. Now let's look at the last week in terms of Bitcoin. Everything divided by Bitcoin. ETH beat Bitcoin for the week. Woohoo! First time ETH has done that, up 6%, whereas Bitcoin was up quite a chunk as well. And you see some dark green there. And of course, Solana up another 50%. It's been insane on a run. A lot of green, a lot of things mixed. Some red, that means they're not beating Bitcoin. Some green, that means they're beating Bitcoin. And some dark green, which means they're just smashing it all together. In terms of percentage returns against US dollars, Bitcoin's up 7% for the week. ETH up 13.5%. Solana up silly numbers, which I won't even mention. And it's been a good week in dollar terms. Again, as I mentioned before, this time is different. The market is running much faster, much earlier than before. Much of this is fueled by chaos in the world, macro backdrop, people needing a safe haven, spot ETFs, and much more. So interesting narratives that are fueling a lot of this excitement too. But for us to be so high, so far, so early is very bizarre and good. Let's call this the Bitcoin pre-approval rally. This is from Joe Consorti, and I thought it was a nice little chart to give us some perspective. First of all, this was a rumor, and that took us up to $30,000. And then we're in the pre-approval rally stage right now. We're at $37,044 as we speak. And a couple of things to note is the simple moving average of 50-day is 30,400. 100-day is 28,765. And the 200-day is 28,630. So we're well above those. And the question is, again, based on history, we are up further and earlier than before. And that means we could be setting up for a very special bull run. for many assets. Also, this video today is about smashing new records. We keep breaking new records. So this one is the Bitcoin options market is witnessing a surge not seen ever before, especially at this stage of the early bull. This is indicative of growing investor confidence and market trends and market expectations for the future. The options open interest signifies that total funds allocated in options contracts marked a record high yesterday, November 10th, with a notional value of nearly $19 billion, equivalent to 495,000 Bitcoin. And the lion's share of this momentum can be attributed to places like Deribit, etc., which have $14.5 billion, according to CoinGlass. So when people place these types of bets, it's because they expect the price to go up, and this is unseen, never before. In addition, let's look at another new all-time high, another new record. Sorry, this people like, I'm going to turn off the trading view, which is open. But here you can see another new all-time high is the illiquid supply. And the Bitcoin illiquid supply metric, again from Glassnode, measures the amount of supply held in wallets with minimal history of spending. And that hit an all-time high of 15.4 million Bitcoin. And changes in this illiquid supply often move in tandem with exchange withdrawals, suggesting investors continue to pull their coins into self-custody, with over 1.7 million Bitcoin going into self-custody in the last year and a half exactly. That's a big chunk. So when the big money comes in to buy this Bitcoin, they'll be prying it from cold storage dead hands. It's going to be very hard to shake loose. That's why this is shaping up to be super, super exciting as we go forward. In addition, this is from our friend Titan of Crypto. And I like this chart because it shows you what's possible next and where we are right now as we speak. So if you look at the history, and I must give kudos because it's a very pretty little chart, you can see there's a couple of things. One is the green little ball. That's the bottom of the bear. Okay. Second one is the first advance. Then that's the yellow. Second advance is pink. And then that bluey, purpley color third advance. I call these the steps. He calls them the advances. And I like the way also he had the black swan of C19 in March 2020 noted there, because that's an anomaly. So many experts are expecting another anomaly to happen. Maybe there'll be a WW3 or some other black swan, but you can't bank on a black swan. C19 was a 1 in 100 year event contrived by, actually, I'm not going to go down that path at all. I'm just going to focus on the chart. But you can see here, the next step after the third advance is a parabolic advance. And we are just at the beginning of that parabolic advance. Again, we've never had such illiquid supply. We've never had so much diminishing supply. We've never had so much hardness in Bitcoin. And that is exciting. Absolutely exciting. In addition, global liquidity is actually creeping up too. So again, a little bit of money, more money is in the system. More money will come. China is now deflationary. They're going to print more money to get out of that mess. US is printing more money, but it's in a covert way. I'll talk about that towards the end. So yeah, the rising liquidity floats all boats. So more goodness. And also this week as well, we had the notification of 2 ETH ETFs that got ETH very excited for about a day. But BlackRock and Nomura have filed for their Ethereum ETFs on top of their Bitcoin ETFs. Again, more excellent goodness out there. And let's talk about the last month of performance for the top 50 cryptos. What's amazing to see here is over the last month, people talk about Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance. Well, these are the top 50 cryptos, and literally 2/3 of them are actually beating Bitcoin right now. And Bitcoin has been on fire, but the returns for some of these altcoins are absolutely insane. Just over 30 days, Rune up 180%, Solana 175%, Injective 137.9%. And these are after huge moves. Year to date, Solana's up 500%, Injective's up 1200%. It's insane, and they keep on going. So everything is really on fire, and I believe it's also getting the attention of other investors. You have old money that have no clue what crypto is or don't even believe in it. They're FOMOing in as well, which is kind of funny to see. So let's jump in. Let's look at one of our dashboards from the Crypto Compendium. You can see the top 50 last week at the top and the top 50 of the last 30 days. Again, the winners over the last week are Rune, Solana, and Near Protocol in third spot. Also, IMX in fourth spot, up a massive 20%. I'll talk more about them later as well. Also, over the last 30 days, Injective number 1, Solana number 2, Rune number 3, and Chainlink number 4, Near Protocol number 5. So it's been a very, very good market. And it's good to see this time around. There's still a lot of meme coins. There's a lot of scam coins out there that are being pumped by pumpers. I see them. I know who they are. But anyway, be careful. Be in quality names with good product market fit, good use cases. Okay, it's critical as we go forward. Now let's talk about the L1, L2 dashboard too. A lot of this cool data comes from our friends at Artemis as well. But here you can see Solana is up 492% year to date. And also Solana is winning the growth in TVL, which is up 24% over the last 7 days, which is awesome. I mean, crazy things happening in this market too. Also, just looking at this, scanning, Bitcoin wins on fee growth, up 671%. Binance wins on daily active users, up 700%. Sol wins on, let me see, what was that at the bottom? Daily active users, Sol and Aptos are up. Sorry, I was looking at weekly active devs. That was Binance. So development is happening again at Binance. I'm getting my rows confused. It's a bit of an eye chart. And I said Solana and Aptos are up in terms of daily active addresses and daily transactions as well. Actually, Binance wins daily transactions up 22% too. So a lot of activity coming into crypto, which is awesome. But again, the old money says, oh, crypto, it's not real, it's fake. When you look at these types of activities, these types of growths, millions and millions of users, and we're so early, it's very exciting. Anyway, let's talk about Immutable X as well. They had a big move this week. I decided to throw it out in the chart to give you some perspective as to where we are right now. But Robbie Ferguson from Immutable discussed the future of Web3 gaming. And he is the co-founder of Immutable X. And they use blockchain technology for Web3 gaming. And he was on CNBC this week. That's another example of how crypto is coming into mainstream media. And Ferguson said that he believes Web3 gaming has the potential to revolutionize the gaming industry by giving players more control over their gaming experiences, allowing them to own their own in-game assets and all that type of stuff. And you can see here from this chart, we are way off the highs of about 440 from the last bull run, but they did have a huge 20% move last week and hitting $1.14. And you can see here, I missed the 40 cents buy signal. But by the way, I do not do gaming, so it's not my focus, so my bad. A little bit of not buyer's remorse here, but we're still a long way off, and we're on the Lilo 5 level. So Immutable X popped. Again, much of this driven by the activity on mainstream media, which I'm surprised people actually even watch. Now, Robinhood as well announces crypto euro trading and expanding into Europe for this, and that's great for the Europeans. In fact, there's a lot of FUD being thrown around about Robinhood, etc. But in full disclosure, I use it and I love pair trading on it. It's pretty cool, and they have a whole bunch of bells and whistles that other places don't have, including 24-hour trading on Tesla. So it's kind of nice too. Also, stocks have been mixed. Speaking of stocks, this week Tesla down 2.4%. Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft all up. NVIDIA up 7.4%. And the stock markets are looking to kind of escape macroeconomic fears as it mounts a comeback. Markets have been up incredibly well over the last 2 weeks since towards the end of October. It dipped. But it has been a bit of a roller coaster for some names. And investors are hopeful that the Federal Reserve will not hike anymore and think about cutting in the next 3 to 6 months. And corporate earnings will continue to grow. So there's a lot of optimism there. And when you think things are worst in the macroeconomic environment, it's when things actually rebound. And we saw a lot of the early signals of big tech, etc., warning. But now we'll see improvements as we go forward into 2024. Speaking of big tech as well, NVIDIA in China a lot of talk about NVIDIA is going to get hurt because they're not allowed to sell AI chips into China. Well, NVIDIA reportedly will sell their new chips into China that still meet certain US rules. And these new chips are reportedly designed to use artificial intelligence applications. So sometimes don't believe what you hear. It's still not bad. And anyway, there is a long list of customers for these NVIDIA chips, and NVIDIA is getting very close to $500. And if their earnings are blowout, which many expect they will be, we could go to $600, $700. Incredible year this year. And also a big thank you to all the analysts out there from traditional finance. You are a blessing in disguise, and let me explain why. So this idiotic analyst news HSBC start covering Tesla with a $146 price target, and they believe Elon Musk is a risk. I mean, did they spend 5 minutes researching Elon Musk, or just because they don't like what he says on Twitter, they get upset? By my calculations, the energy business alone is worth $150, more than their price target. Just the energy storage business. So a big thank you to Wall Street analysts for being so clueless and helping retail buy this asset. And as I said at the very beginning as well, sometimes you make your bets and you have to wait and be patient. I call it laying traps. You snag these things at $200 or $106 early in the year, and you wait. And that's the magic of investment, okay? HSBC will be proven extremely wrong. Mark my words. And that comes with the money back guarantee. Let's go. Over time, of course, not tomorrow. This is a little bit of sad news too. Americans are raiding their retirement savings, which means they are pulling money out of their retirement funds before they're actually retiring. And that's because they are suffering from hardship. And 401ks withdrawals, which is like an American pension fund, were up 13% in the third quarter versus the second quarter, and people pulled out a ton in the second quarter too. And the average hardship withdrawal is over $5,000. The average balance in a 401k is like $80,000, so that's a big chunk of money that they're pulling out. And the percentage of 401k participants who got a loan from the workplace in the third quarter was 3%. So again, a lot of people are suffering out there, and they are beginning to ransack their retirement funds by order to just make ends meet, which is very, very sad as well. And we all know as well that, you know, if you're invested in traditional retirement funds like mutual funds and all that type of stuff, it's not going to get you ahead. Unless you're beating 14% return per year, you're not going to be able to do that. Or you can invest in crypto, and certain things are up 500% year to date. It's insane. But buying traditional mutual fund that's a bag of bones, zombie companies, it's not going to get you anywhere. Think different. Think about those 3 rules I mentioned at the beginning. Also, in US dollar poop coin news, this is funny, Moody's cut the US outlook to negative, citing deficits and political polarization. Moody's has downgraded its outlook for the US economy to negative, and the downgrade is also because of the huge budget deficits. I reckon it could be as high as $2.4 trillion in the year 2023 and even higher next year. And it's also the last rating company to come out and kind of hit them and downgrade them. And I do believe if I put the US government on the IA Crypto Compendium, it would be down there with Hex, which I've always called a poop coin as well. I don't care if the Hex army come after me, all the armies come after me. It's just data, and I don't care. And also, if it was a company, it would be valued at 0. So it's kind of crazy. We need hard assets. That's why I make these videos every single day, to get that message across. And speaking of some of the cracks out there, you got JP, Jerome Powell. He's been under terrible duress. And somebody caught him on a hot mic, and he said, just close the bleep bleep door. And why is he stressed? Well, it could be because of the BTFP. Literally, he's torching everything. And we'll start to see the effects of that. We've already seen a lot of effects. There's a lot of banks hitting the wall in March this year, a few last week. We're seeing a huge amount of money printing to bail out the banks because of the duration risk. But last week, this is the Fed's emergency loan program usage, the BTFP, emergency bank loan program, whatever they call it, just hit a new high of 112 billion, highlighting the stress in the US Treasury market. banks, especially regional ones, are absolutely getting tapped out. People are pulling all their money out of the banks, putting them in money market funds to get high yield. And the banks own these long-term bonds that are in the toilet, and they have to borrow from the government. So money printing is happening. You just don't feel it yet. Okay, that's the real magic here. And of course, show you how politics and how great they are. Yes, we're once again, 3 months later, talking about a U.S. government shutdown, and U.S. House Republicans eye a plan to avert the shutdown, especially with Moody's and their warning coming out as well. U.S. House Republicans are eyeing a plan to somehow pull a rabbit out of a hat and fund the government through December 16th, which is, I think, the shutdown date. I don't really track this. I don't really care. They'll just print more money anyway. It's all nonsense, complete nonsense. And speaking of government, the U.S. has announced new tax brackets for 2024. This model was shared on Patreon earlier today. And you can see that they have gone up a little bit, but also taxes are high. And this is just federal taxes. If you're in certain states, you have a lot of state tax on top of that. And that's on top of your property taxes and your sales taxes and your car taxes and your taxes you pay on gasoline if you smoke or drink. Taxes, 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 taxes. Very popular over here in the US. And in a bit of good news too, but also controversial news, this is about the fact that patients are lining up for this new $2,500 MRI scan that can apparently detect cancer early. And I can tell you right now, detecting cancer early is the best thing you can do. If you feel something is off in your body or you have a pain in your body, get checked out. The earlier you catch it, the higher your odds are of beating it. If you wait till it's too late, you're toast. So this scan does cost $2,500. It's probably not included in insurance. But I do believe if you have the money and you have an ailment, get checked. It's worth it. And by the way, this is a lot cheaper than it's ever been before. And that's why this company is quite special. In addition, in other disruption news, and I've been talking about this for a long time, but Kevin Mayer came out and he spoke about the fact that linear TV, which is satellite cable TV, is dying. Well, we've seen that for a long time when YouTubers get more views than TV channels and stuff like that. It's kind of funny. And a big shout out as a wrap up to the team in India. Happy Diwali for you guys, because it's literally Diwali tomorrow, but because the time difference is already there. So I want to shout out to everybody in India. And by the way, India is now my 7th largest audience, right after Netherlands and above Singapore. And it's growing very fast. So big shout out to everybody there. They are also adopting crypto very fast and super interested in it too. So thank you everybody in Patreon. Shout out to the mods in the chat. See you all later. And tomorrow is the big Q&A where we answer the top questions of the week from everybody in Patreon. So happy weekend, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place. Have a good day. Bye.